Hello, I just wanted to give you a quick hi and thank you for being part of the newsletter. It's very much appreciated. Um, I've been scrolling through social media and there was a cool thing that came up. The journalist Johan Hari, I actually interviewed him a while ago. He's a really interesting chap. And a few years back, he was talking to Stephen Bartlett on Diary of a CEO podcast. And he was talking about the leak that came out of Facebook about how their algorithms work. So it turns out that when you're scrolling and scrolling through Facebook, whenever you slow down and have a look at something, quite often it's negative news. It's called a negative bias. So you might already be aware of a confirmation bias or an unconscious bias. There's a few biases out there. And what it basically means is that the human body is trying to stay alive. Funny that, it likes living. And so it looks out for things that may inform it of danger. So this is also, I mean, it's not new, is it? Because newspapers were sold on negative headlines and some people drive by slowly from accidents and give it a little bit of a look. And that's part of our negative bias. It's not the fact that they're just nosy, they're kind of programmed to do it. It's a weird, weird thing, but it's just literally our human psyche wants to keep us alive. Now, the AI algorithms kind of went, oh, this is interesting. So for advertising, and to sell advertising, then there's this idea of X amount of people look at our Facebook or X amount of people are on this social media platform. And then those people spend X amount of time looking at this thing. So the longer you're on the platform, the more money they're going to make. It basically boils down to that. Now, you know, I love human psychology. And of course, marketing and PR actually started in the womb of Sigmund Freud. Yes. So it turns out that Sigmund Freud's nephew, who was called Edward Bernays, is now known as the godfather, grandfather, father of fathers of PR, which was actually known at the time, just after the war, as propaganda. It was about trying to get people to behave in a particular way. You would give them a particular amount of things, news, information, which would govern how they reacted to things. And therefore, you were kind of controlling humanity. Go figure. So by controlling humanity in terms of what we buy, how we behave, how we react to things, actually started in the place of psychodynamics, psychoanalytics. So that's where it actually started. So it's no surprise that AI has actually been programmed to look at human beings and what it is that we look at in terms of our human psychology. And in this case, it's negative bias. Now, the reason why I say this is because for you and your emotional well-being, sometimes we can look at things and think that things are much bleaker than they are when we're looking at social media. We might not realise the fact that we're actually being dictated to because you might have slowed down on a post and looked at something. So I'll give you a good example of this. I had a client that has ADHD, and I was fascinated and I was like, oh, I want to know more about that. So I started researching via all sorts of different social media stuff about ADHD to look at the things that my client was looking at and to see what was going on and to see what the public thinks. Oh my God, I am just bombarded by stuff on ADHD at the moment. I mean, you know, I don't mind, but there is a limit. I want to be looking at puppies sometimes. So it's quite interesting how what it is that we do becomes like an echo chamber in terms of the things that we see. So if we spend more time looking at posts about negative subjects, we're going to be shown more negative stuff. And this is interesting because on Facebook, you might be looking at a post and it's got like comments, but it doesn't show you all the comments. It might say most relevant comments, and then it says recent comments, and then it says all comments. And I would bet you bottom dollar that the most relevant comments are actually the negative ones, because they're the ones that people are reading the most. So they're the ones that you're being shown, even if you spend all of your time on social media looking at puppies or kittens, and maybe other people's food. And maybe you don't spend that much time on social media, but still the people that you meet in the world do, and they may be telling you stories of things that they heard, saw, witnessed on social media, like I did about Johan Hari and where that idea of negative bias comes from. So this is the world in which we live. And having this little piece of information arms you to realise that the world is full of a lot more kinder, engaged, excited game changers in the world than there are the negative, moony people that you might find on social media and some of the posts that you see on social media. So take that into the new year with you. I hope that that helps in some way to actually realise that the world is a much better, happier, smarter place than perhaps we realise. And this is not allow me to negate all of the terrible things that happen, because I'm like, that's very nice, Becky, but do you realise that there's several wars going on at the moment? Yes, I'm aware. I am more than aware. But also, you've got local communities that are local to you doing incredible things. So hopefully you can see all of that stuff too and live in a little more of a happier place. Okay, that's me. I'm done. Happy Christmas to you, those of you who celebrate it, and I will see you in the new year with another newsletter. Until then, have a good, restful, wonderful holiday period if that's what you're doing. All right, take care. Bye.